This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight it's game number 2 from Marlins Park in Miami. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. Jim Hayes is here. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Cardinals almost pulled out game 1 late last night. Came up just a bit short, but tonight they've got their best going, and that's Miles Mikolas.
Cardinals have to turn the page, and Miles Mikolas can help them do that. 11-3 on the year. He has just been superb, and I'm not too sure he's been a surprise to the Cardinals either, Dan.
Not at all. They knew what they were getting. A very smart move in the offseason. Coming over from Japan. He's a native of Jupiter, Florida. A lot of family and friends are here tonight. So, Miles Mikolas in Miami. The return of Marcell Ozuna to Miami. The Cards, the Marlins. Game 2 coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Another gorgeous day here in Miami. The roof is closed tonight. Can the Birds offense get it going? Just one run last night. Game 2 coming up. And tonight it is game number 2 of this 3-game series. 76 degrees outside, along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Roof is closed tonight. That could be a difference maker, as we saw in the game last night.
Last night in the 8th inning, Jed Jerko hit a ball to deep center field. He said it was the hardest ball he hit all season. Now this from a guy who's had 58 home runs over the last 2.5 years, and it did not go out. It was an out.
Mike Schultz line up tonight. Matt Carpenter at the top. Then Yadier Molina and Jose Martinez. Marcell Ozuna, Jed Jerko, Paul DeYoung, Colton Wong back in the starting lineup. Harrison Bader will bat 8th, and the pitcher Michaelis batting 9th. Pablo Lopez getting the start for Miami, an even 2-2 record. ERA is under 5.
It's a fascinating pitchers matchup tonight with Miles Michaelis, as everybody knows, spending 3 years in Japan. Pablo Lopez, on the other hand, is from Venezuela. Both parents are doctors. He's got a sister that's a lawyer. He's got a brother who's studying engineering, and all he did when he was young was read medical books and was planning on going to medical school, and here he is pitching in the big leagues, first time against the Cardinals.
Here's Matt Carpenter. 29 home runs, with 19 of those coming on the road. And the first pitch taken for a ball, and we're underway. The Cardinals saw 180 pitches last night.
Man, didn't realize that. My gosh. Stranding again. They've stranded on this road trip, 3 games against Pittsburgh, and last night's game they've stranded 47 runners. That's an average of 12 a game. They hope to change that tonight.
The 2-0 pitch. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You're getting hits, you're getting on base, but yet you're not driving them in.
There's an old saying in baseball, unless you drive them in, they don't count.
Sure.
Now, that's not true, but certainly a lot of truth to it.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Carpenter. Cardinals starting play tonight, 7.5 games out in the NL Central. Milwaukee a game and a half back of Chicago, and the Cardinals are 3 games above the 500 mark. The pitch taken inside. The GMC leaderboard, 25 in a row. Matt Carpenter, the on-base streak. If he can get on base here, that would match his career high of 26. Swing and a miss, and a strikeout to start the night.
Looked like a changeup from Lopez, and a good one. Not a hard thrower.
Marlins defensively around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Dietrich, Sierra, and Anderson in the outfield. Rojas, Riddle, Castro, and Borrell on the infield, and JT Realmuto is behind the plate. That's yanked down the left field line and foul. Cardinals did everything they wanted to last night in terms of having a chance to win late. Had Molina at the plate, bases loaded, 1 out, and a double play into the game. Mike Schild telling us before the game he's been really pleased how his team is grinding it out until the last out.
Kind of easy to do in a 1-run ball game, but that was a 2-run ball game going into the top of the 9th last night.
2 balls and a strike. Kyle Barraclough has been removed as the closer by Don Mattingly for the Marlins.
Kind of thought that would happen, didn't you, Dan?
Absolutely. Last 6 appearances, he's given up 12 runs. Ooh. And so Don was saying that could see a combination of guys, Drew Steckenrider, Javi Guerra, also mentioned Adam Conley, the lefty, so a lot of matchups maybe late in this game. 2-2, fouled back. Jose Martinez at the on-deck circle, just underway here in Miami. Again, a lot of red in the seats tonight. Ground ball left side, gloved by Rojas. 2 outs. Take a look at our Kubota power stats. Jose Martinez last year and this year, the comparison. 63 runs batted in this season for Martinez, and that leads the St. Louis Cardinals. That's despite limited playing time the last 3 to 4 weeks.
He's 2 RBIs ahead of Matt Carpenter, the leadoff hitter. Matt Carpenter back in 2015 led the Cardinals in RBIs, primarily leading off.
We may see that again this year. Leadoff man that leads
right.
the club in runs batted in.
Last year there were 2 guys in the American League that did it. Mookie Betts with the Red Sox and Brian Dozier with the Twins.
Inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's an animated cookie, isn't he?
Oh boy. Oh, he's hopping around in that batter's box talking. Tim mentioned that Lopez grew up with parents that were doctors, reading medical books. Well, he's also fluent in 4 different languages: Spanish, English, Portuguese, and Italian.
Of which I would imagine Portuguese is the toughest, from what I understand.
Says his Italian is a little rusty since it's not often used. And a strikeout on the outside corner. So he strikes out 2 here in the top of the 1st, and Miles Michaelis to the mound for St. Louis. In the Cy Young race, maybe. It's been very good this year. Michaelis coming up. 11-3. Cardinals have won the majority of his starts. He's been good both home and road, anywhere you want to look.
You see that 22 starts, so obviously his 23rd start, he has walked 25 in 22 starts.
Outstanding. There's a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. So Michaelis, who grew up in Jupiter, Florida, faces the Miami Marlins and this lineup. Dietrich, Anderson, Realmuto, home half of the first. Then Bohr, Castro, and Riddle, Rojas, Sierra, and Lopez. Marlins picked up a run in the first inning last night off of Luke Weaver. The first pitch to the backstop, a breaking ball for ball one. There's Dietrich with a base hit, and then Anderson brought him in. First two in the top of their lineup to set the tone. 1 ball and 1 strike. I would say for the moment it's a lesser crowd than the one that we saw last night.
Equally frail.
Not only do you guess the attendance, you have to name them.
First names.
Right. It's unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
2-2.
But you know, the Oakland Athletics, I mean, here they are with a 6-game winning streak going into tonight's play. Hottest team in baseball. And for years, they have had a tough time drawing, even when they won World Series back in 72, 3-4, 3 in a row.
2-2. And a base hit into center.
There are three troubled franchises, I think, Dan, in the major leagues. Here in Miami, both Florida teams, as a matter of fact, Tampa Bay, Miami, and Oakland. Oakland can't move to San Jose because the Giants have rights for their fandom to extend to San Jose. And that's why a lot of people think that Montreal might be a team in the major leagues again if they can build a stadium downtown and one of the 3 teams move there. It's part of the problem solved.
Tampa Bay has talked about a stadium in Ybor City. There's issues in trying to get to that ballpark in St. Pete.
It's a lot closer to Orlando there, and then you've got the Orlando to Tampa wealth of people there.
Never know, baseball could expand to Mexico, Portland, some of the cities that have been talked about as Michaelis makes the play, advancing Dietrich to second base. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, and Martinez in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter along the infield, and Molina is behind the plate. The motto around here from Derek Jeter is just getting started. And there it is. Now they've tried to reach out to their fan base, those that do come to the ballpark. Very small percentage fans here, season ticket holders, and see what they'd like to do, what they enjoy about the ballpark, the experience. We mentioned last night the roof. They like to have the roof open. The fans have talked about that. Winning cures a lot of things.
Oh, yes. Except crowds in this area.
Realmuto looks at a ball inside.
World champions in 1997 and 2003. Of course, the ownership groups have not helped things, selling off players the year after they win World Series.
There's a strike, and I would imagine the fan base, that's the major problem. You know, they've had good
trust.
teams. Yeah,
Trust
is the word. You know, Derek Jeter could say just getting started, but got to see it.
Yeah.
Wayne Huizenga sold off the first championship team. They won again in 03. That's tapped foul. Then they moved into this ballpark with the idea of investing into payroll, which they did, but then they gave it about a year and gutted that team.
They were like Tampa Bay at the time. Tampa Bay trading and signing as free agents all those guys who drove in runs. They forgot pitching is the name of the game.
The name of the game.
Yes.
A ball and 2 strikes on JT Realmuto. He's driven in 53 this season. First World Series title against Cleveland. Edgar Renteria, the game-winning hit of a Charles Nagy. Then Josh Beckett, the second time, was just terrific for the Marlins.
MVP of the World Series in 03.
And a high fly ball lifted into shallow right field. Racing in Martinez, and he makes the catch and quickly back into the infield. Marlins have never won a division and yet never lost a playoff series.
That's well put and obviously true.
That's amazing.
Never thought of it like that, though. That's good.
Wild card teams. There's Justin Bour, who's hitting .228. Two outs and a runner at second, and that's a ball.
Justin Bour, a bore in everything but his power. I mean, this guy can hit him as far as anybody. 270 pounds. It's large.
And a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, you have to draft well, then you have to develop. Cardinals have done both. Every team looking to do that.
Especially this year, that young pitching of the Cardinals showing how they were developed and how well they've been developed.
There's a 1-1 pitch and a grounder foul. Colton Wong, the second baseman, about 10 to 15 feet back on the outfield grass. He's back in the lineup tonight. Think about Don Mattingly. He's gone from the Yankees, spending money, managing the Dodgers, spending a ton of money, and then you come here where this is more about teaching, development, those types of things. Said he actually enjoys this more than anything. Lined into center field and a base hit. 1-0 Marlins. The throw by Bader offline. That brings in Dietrich with 2 outs here in the first. And Bour has driven in 54 this year.
That's the thing about Bour. He did not hit it well. We talked about his power. That was a fastball inside. He kind of pushed it to center. Brought the hands in. And the Marlins score the first run of the game like last night.
Batter is Starlin Castro. Hit a home run last night. The 2 hits that brought in runs against Luke Weaver were on changeups. Went 6 innings, gave up a couple of runs. Cardinals could not come back. Fastball and a strike. even with the national media, when you were going to do Yankee games all the time, even then Jeter was not that he was standoffish. It was just, was he tough to get to?
Not really. He was accessible. It was just not always accessible, and he would be nice but wouldn't give you anything.
Very guarded in a way.
Yeah, in a sense. And he was Derek Jeter. He was never rude, never turned anybody down, but never granted a request anyway.
Yeah.
So I found him to be a pleasant guy. I mean, if he didn't want to talk, so what? What could he play? Not a power hitter, but he hit home runs. Not a great pull hitter, but he'd beat you with a pull down the third baseline. Not a great fielder, but he made all the plays. Don Zimmer said coming across behind the pitcher's mound, he was the best ever that Zimmer had seen. Staying down on the ball and completing the play to first base.
That inside out swing too.
Right. And of course at Yankee Stadium with that short right field porch that was designed for Babe Ruth originally back in 1920. Derek Jeter loved it too.
Oh yeah.
Just could hit those wall scrapers to right field.
Did that in November in the World Series. Up the third base line and foul.
Mr. November.
You got it.
That was the 2001 World Series with 9-1-1 as the backdrop. Some month and a half earlier.
Tiger Woods back in St. Louis for the first time since 9/11. That was the BMW.
Really?
And
wow.
He played about 5 holes, my understanding, today at Belle Reve, and then the rain came in and he met with the media and said he had not stepped on the course since the BMW. That's out to center. Harrison Bader with the catch. Justin Moore, a 2-out single to center to bring in Dietrich. It's 1-0. Running this franchise, part owner of the club. We understand he's here at most games.
Danny, I was recently up in Cooperstown for the Bob Costas induction, and those in power at Cooperstown, and believe me, there are quite a lot, are so impressed with Mariano Rivera going in next year, in all probability, and Derek Jeter the following year, and the Yankee response and how many people are going to show up at Cooperstown.
Oh, sure.
And how they're going to handle all of them. It's a real concern.
A ball and a strike on Marcell Ozuna. And a hanging breaking ball. It's popped down the left field line and out of play. Turn to Tim McCarver's Toyota key to the game.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. It's okay to get them on, but you got to get them in. On this road trip of the 4 games, the Cardinals won 2-1 in Pittsburgh. They lost 2-1 last night to Miami.
Ozuna with a base hit into right field. He had 3 hits last night. First Cardinal hit here in game 2.
Marcell Ozuna with 52 strike hits this year. That's 3rd in the National League. I know what you Cardinal fans are thinking. Where's the power been? And it's been absent.
And a reasonable question.
Yeah, it certainly is. Guy with 37 home runs last year, 13 this year.
Ball 1 to Jed Jerko. 8 home runs for Jed. He's driven in 37. Batting .252 and a shift on the left side of the infield. It's a high fly ball out to right. Ozuna halfway. Anderson the catch. First out. Cardinals were very pleased the final at bat last night for Paul DeJong. They saw some things that they felt that he had addressed. As we've talked about, he's been in between, either out in front or late.
Been hitting defensively at the plate. Caught in between, as we said last night, and taking a lot of pitches early in the count while you're still the aggressor. If you let it mount up, strike 1, strike 2, you're hitting from a hole all the time. That's the point.
One-0 pitch. Takes it the other way. Racing in. Anderson to make the catch. MLB.TV now available at a lower price, $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer. Two outs, a runner at first, Colton Wong.
Last night's game, Colton Wong pinch hit with the bases loaded and nobody out. 2-0 Miami, and struck out on a 3-2 slider.
Here's the 0-1.
That was from the aforementioned Bear Claw. Finally taken out of the game, and then Molina hit the second pitch for a double play ball, and the game was over.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Colton Wong. One ball and 2 strikes. Just got a piece. It stays alive.
All of these Cardinal hitters are facing Lopez for the first time. Unless there was a winter ball game or league in which a Cardinal player faced them. Jose Martinez, for instance, being from Venezuela, as is Lopez.
Outside, our thoughts and prayers tonight with Brian Bartow, longtime front office employee of the Cardinals. Media relations side, his father, Louis Bartow, passed away over the weekend. So, Brian, we're thinking about you tonight and your family. Our condolences. Ooh, just a bit outside. Similar pitch that we saw last night. What you were talking about. Bader on deck, 3-2. So Ozuna off with the pitch.
I think so. Well, I know so. There were 2 outs. I got tricked then. My eyes deceived me.
There goes Ozuna, and a ground ball hit to second. Taken there by Starlin Castro. Cardinals strand a runner, their first of the night.
Pay attention to the game.
Midway through 2, 1-0. With Jim.
Yeah, Tyler was in Jupiter yesterday getting looked over by the team's medical staff. Tyler is back with the team today. He's on the 10-day DL with a non-baseball related groin condition. Obviously a very personal issue, but Tyler did tell me he's able to get around today. The pain has subsided and it is healing quickly. Tyler had been playing so well before the condition cropped up. He told me, I just want to get back on the field. I just want to help this team. That's all I want. And Dan, I think Cardinal fans also anxiously looking forward to the return of Tyler O'Neill.
Absolutely. And Adolis Garcia called up for the Cardinals. We haven't seen him yet. When he gets into a game, it'll be his major league debut. And a ground ball back to Michaelis.
Good play.
JT Riddle, the first out.
JT Riddle, a pretty fast runner. So if Wong had to make that play, even though Colton's probably the best defensive second baseman in the National League, it would have been a tough play for him.
And a ground ball off the bat of Rojas, and Young to his left for out number 2. Pride Night returns to Busch Stadium on Friday, August 17th. Purchase of a special themed ticket. Fans receive a Cardinals t-shirt with a rainbow STL logo. Get your Pride Night tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Magneuris Sierra Little chopper slowly hit, barehanded by Jerko, and in time. Boy, that's a good play.
Real good play. That ball bounced up, and Jed did not feel that ball cleanly. Tell you why Don Mattingly is taking a look. Why would you challenge this with 2 outs and Sierra on at first base? Well, it's a big play because you get Sierra, and then the pitcher leads off the 3rd inning. So that's why Mattingly, if he thinks Sierra is safe, go ahead and challenge it. We'll see. Nothing doing. Good play by Jerko.
Get Sierra by a step, maybe. In a 1-2-3 5-pitch inning. You can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Cardinals wherever you go. Kia drive to success as Harrison Bader steps in for the first time. NL rookies. And Bader hitting .275. That's overall as a starter. 51st time he has started. He's at .296. 11 stolen bases, 6 home runs. Gave one a ride last night, but you could tell you hit it to center. Just seemed like it was Death Valley out there.
Not with the roof open last night. It's closed tonight, so it should be better. We'll see.
0-2. Bader here, then Michaelis and Carpenter to follow.
Lopez getting away with one there.
What have you thought of him so far?
Yeah, not a hard thrower. I'm going to withhold my opinion till we see how he does. Another hanger.
I got it! I got it! I got it!
Foul territory, and the catch made by Rojas. It's a good point. He's left a couple of balls that were very hittable.
That's it. That was a slider that didn't slide, just hanging in the middle. To determine it sometimes from home, if you see the slider with a dime spin that's tightly wrapped, that's the better slider than the quarter spin.
And that just rolls.
Yeah, it's a roller. That's right.
Cement mixer.
Yeah.
0-1 pitch to Michaelis. Hitting 103, 4 for 39, 23 strikeouts this year.
Hey.
1-2. Two and two. Cardinals wrap up the series with Miami tomorrow on the air at 5:30. And we head to Kansas City as Michaelis picks up a base hit into left.
That's a pretty good pitch right there. A fastball on the corner away. And Miles just reached out there and roped a hard grounder past the third baseman. It's not a bad pitch.
Pitchers do that, and the position players, they act like they're eating salsa.
Right. Right.
We've seen him do this a lot. That's Matt Carpenter.
Oh, yeah. He can do anything he wants to do.
Yes. Last left-handed batter to hit 30 or more home runs was Jim Edmonds, 2004. He had 42 that year.
Wow.
Last one to do it for the Cardinals. Carpenter struck out to start the game. Shift on the right side of the infield.
It's a different shift, however. The second baseman is on the infield and not in right center field where we saw Colton Wong earlier. And the reason for that, they want the double play to get out of the inning. You're not going to get a double play if you're in shallow right.
No chance. 2 strikes now on Carpenter. And with this now 2 strikes, Rojas, third baseman, going on the second base side of the bag. See Carpenter kind of surveying the infield. I always thought, what would Tony Gwynn do against a shift? A guy that seemed
they wouldn't shift.
Yeah, I mean, he could put the ball anywhere. That's pulled foul.
Or Wade Boggs.
Another one.
I confirmed that. I saw Wade in Cooperstown a couple of weeks ago, and I said, is it true Joe Morgan, the manager, the guy who took over as the manager in 1988, told me this story, that if the shortstop was towards second base, Wade Boggs would hit the ball in the hole between short and third. If he was in the hole between short and third, he'd hit it up the middle. And Boggs said, yes, wow, that's what I could do.
That's incredible.
It really is.
That is unbelievable.
It really is.
Man.
Talking about bat control. That was close from Lopez, by the way.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Carpenter. Lead at first by Michaelis, and he struck him out. So Carpenter struck out twice, and that's 3 for Lopez.
That's why you pitch inside. That's why you knock guys down. That's why you come close to them. That's the 1-2 pitch. Carpenter looking out there, and now the changeup to get Matt.
All set up by the pitch before.
Absolutely. Pitchers should take heed and do it too.
There's another hanger that the Cardinals would love back.
He's thrown a bunch of hangers. Gotten away with it. The guy with the Cardinal staff that's impressive pitching inside is Jack Flaherty.
And that's by design, too.
Yes, it is.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Say it all the time, but you have to pitch inside, or at least it seems like those that are successful do it.
Yeah, and if you don't, they continue to take the good pitches away, and make it a fat part of the bat.
Molina sends one high in the air out to center. Sierra under it. The aquarium behind home plates as we head to break. Marlins on top 1-0. Rankings this year, wins and innings and ERA, very efficient. The pitches per inning, first pitch strikes first in the National League. Not sure we all saw this coming out of spring training. Now the Cardinals will tell you they thought he could be good. I'm not sure if they're honest with us he'd be this good. But he's been great. Kudos to the Cardinals for getting him.
A guy who learned to pitch in Japan. He will be 30 years old in 16 days, August 23rd.
And in a way, he's become the elder statesman. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season?
Yeah.
Of this rotation. Bud Norris, the elder statesman in the bullpen. Told the story before, but the first two starts in spring training, you thought, uh-oh, oh man. But he settled in and he's been outstanding ever since.
Miles, by the way, pitched for the Yomiuri Giants for 3 seasons. Yomiuri is the ball club in Japan that's owned by the newspaper, the Yomiuri newspaper.
Lopez, the first out.
Dan, we had a chance to play over there in 1968. The timing wasn't real good because we had lost to Detroit after being up 3-1, of course, and they came back and won 3 in a row. But we had a taste of playing in Japan, and at that time it was different. We faced Sadaharu Oh, the great player that has hit more home runs than anybody in the history of baseball in the world. I think it's 861, I believe, something like that. He could hit too. He could handle.
Was he legitimate?
Oh yeah. Some of them weren't.
Yeah.
Sprayed the ball around and everything, but he's a dominant front leg picker-upper, if you know what I mean.
I get it. Yeah. You described it.
He picked that leg up, and when his foot came down, he really had some leverage and power.
Was it a fun trip, though, for the guys?
It was tough. It was tough. It was fun toward the end because we more or less got used to it. None of us had ever had Japanese food, for instance, nor been to Japan. And it was interesting. Everybody knows how beloved Mike Shannon has been for so many years, but Mike Shannon brought a crossbow to Japan.
That's under the glove of Long and a base hit by Dietrich.
I haven't remembered that story for a long time. And Mike will tell you, in those days, security was lax. He wanted to go bear hunting with a crossbow.
In Japan.
In Japan.
Did anybody? So
Not,
you guys, let me ask you this. Hold on.
Fukuoka, I believe. It wasn't Fukuoka. It was whatever the main mountain is there. I can't think of it right now.
So he boards the plane.
Right.
With a crossbow.
That's correct.
And the team is saying what?
The team is saying it's okay. I mean, our rules were relaxed, but only Mike would think of that. A crossbow to hunt bear
in Japan.
In Japan. Now, when I say crossbow, I'm not sure if it was a more sophisticated version of a regular bow and arrow, or the real crossbow. I think it was the real crossbow. I have to wait till I get back to St. Louis in the middle of September to find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, big boy.
Big boy. Never shot a bear with a crossbow without finishing it and leaving the impression that he had.
Oh man, that's great. There will never, and I'll go out on a limb and say this, and I don't think I'm going on a limb all that much, never be another Mike Shannon.
No.
Double play ball, DeYoung cutting in front of Wong in the double play.
Nice turn. Crossbow for an arm at shortstop.
Coming up, it's Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, and Jed Jerko. Cardinals down by a run. Glad that you're with us. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals trail by a run.
We had to check on that, Dan. That mountain peak we were thinking about was Mount Fuji. So it was going to be in the foothills of Mount Fuji that Mike was going to kill all those bears.
What a beauty. We miss Mike on the road. We get to have the Mike Shannon experience when we're home, but on the road sometimes it's even better.
I've said this a lot of times, but if he hadn't moved to third base from right field in 1967 and 8, it wouldn't have worked. Then what do you do with Roger Maris?
2-0 pitch. Slowly hit towards third. Barehanded by Rojas, and the stretch by Bohr. Nice play again.
We've seen 2 barehanded pickups by a third baseman so far in this game, and we're only in the 4th. Something that used to be amazing ceases to be amazing anymore. These guys are making that play rather routinely.
And it's anything but.
Yeah. They even practice it now.
Marcell Ozuna, base hit, first time up, is single to right. And a strike. Now, did Mike really work a ton with George Kissel in that transition?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
That's pulled foul.
I remember some mornings we'd get there at probably 8:30, 8:45 or something, ready to go by 10. And Mike would already be out there, and Red Shandies was hitting balls off his chest at third base, bouncing off, and he had a cannon for an arm. That's why he was such a great right fielder.
Taken at second by Castro.
But he would, peel that ball off his torso, pick it up, throw him out.
Told the story, but Mike Schilt with the teachings of George Kissel in a black book that was put together by George's son, who was the doctor at AA when Mike was the manager. So when George had passed away, all his teachings and little writings were all spread out, and Dr. Kissel put it together for Mike Schilt. And he still, if you walk into his office right now, it'd be sitting on his desk.
Mike, that spring, really worked diligently by talking to other third basemen. Don Hoke of the Pirates was one of them. And Don was winding up his career. Matter of fact, Don Hoke was married to Jill Corey, the singer, and wrapping up his career. And the one thing he told Mike, he said, play shallow at third so the hop doesn't eat you up. You don't give the bad hop a chance to develop.
And you're going to take some off the chest too.
Yeah, oh sure.
But if you're in, you can recover sometimes
exactly.
too.
And when Mike recovered and had that great arm, no problem.
Couldn't believe when the 68 guys were back in and Roger Maris's son was in attendance. I mean, it looked like Roger Maris.
Oh, did it ever, guys.
Wow.
Strikingly so.
Strikeout of Jerko, and that's 4 tonight for Lopez. He's allowed just 2 hits. We're midway through 4, 1-0. action. More on that. We check in with Jim.
Yeah, Dan, Waino threw another bullpen today, his 5th since coming off the DL. He told me he hasn't felt this good since spring training. He threw all his pitches today, including 20 at max effort. The next step will be throwing a simulated game at Jupiter. If that goes well, Waino could likely go out on a rehab. Mike Schilt told me Waino could have thrown this bullpen in St. Louis, but he wanted to be here around the Cards' young pitchers. Schilt said just having Waino around, talking to these young guys, will help them more than anyone could imagine.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. I know you also had the chance on the pregame show as JT Realmuto digs in. It's a grounder to third, and there's one away. But Jimmy, you had the chance to visit with Bud Norris on the pregame show.
Yeah, Bud loves having all these young guys in the bullpen. You know, he is a leader, and he is trying to show them the ropes. And he said that he feels that there's more energy with this ball club since Mike Schilt has taken over. His exact words were, "We have a lot more fire in this clubhouse. There is more scratching going on. You can feel it." He said anything can happen. We're just hoping to sneak into the playoffs.
And I bet, Tim, to an extent, you probably have sensed that as well.
Yes.
I mean, Mike, and I know fans are looking and they say, well, the record's not much, much different than it was before, but there's a different feeling around the club right now. Different way they go about it, how they play the game. The strike to Bohr. One ball and one strike. It was a 2-out single to center by Bohr, the difference. And that brought in Derek Dietrich back in the first, and a big shift here for the Cardinals on Bohr. Little grounder that's hit up the middle. Paul DeYoung with it. 2 outs. Celebrate the 5th class of the Cardinals Hall of Fame inductees. Hall of Fame weekend coming up August 17th through the 19th. Presented by Edward Jones. Take home a mystery baseball cap honoring the fan vote inductees, Vince Coleman or Ray Lankford, courtesy of Edward Jones. Here's Starlin Castro. Two outs, nobody on.
That's 9 outs recorded for Miles Michaelis on the ground.
One and one.
In an explanation of the obvious, years ago, Casey Stengel was asked, why is it important to keep the ball on the ground? And he simply said, because ground balls don't go out of the ballpark. That's a pretty good explanation.
Well, it's pretty true, too.
Yeah, the old professor, it is absolutely true. Might bounce out of the ballpark.
That's out of play. Do you know him well at all?
No, I didn't know him well. I saw him a bunch because when the Yankees moved to Fort Lauderdale, the Cardinals continued to train in St. Petersburg at Al Lang Field. And the Mets took over the Yankee complex. Miller Huggins, they changed the name of it. And then they used Al Lang Field as the. So we got pretty close to some of the Met players early in their stay in New York.
First strikeout for Miles. DeYoung coming up. of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. And there's ball one, and we're underway here in the top of the fifth. Combined 5 hits in this game. And the Marlins a 1-0 lead. 2-0. And that's hit out to left field. DeYoung thinking extra bases and hustling into the bag at second base, sliding, leadoff double.
Give yourself a chance to get an extra base out of the box, not when you get to first. You could see Paul DeYoung running hard, full speed, right from the box for a double. Double number 13 on the year for Paul. Going through the salsa dip.
Matt Carpenter made me try it in Cincinnati.
Did you like it?
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. He also said you're going to have the greatest game you've ever had behind the mic.
Except for your partner. Your partner would probably have the worst game.
Oh, man. Maybe I should get you some salsa.
Well, I love Mexican food.
Oh, you'd like it. That's inside to Wong.
Your eyes water? Is it hot?
No, it wasn't too bad.
No?
That's what I thought was going to happen. Homemade salsa. Ingredients from a backyard of Adam Wainwright and Matt Carpenter. The 1-1. Two balls and one strike.
Situation for Colton. Look for the fastball. If you get the breaking ball and it's hittable, go for it. It's a bad ball, take it. Offensive situation for Wong.
Hits it to short. Good play by DeYoung to advance from second to third. Mike Shield, one of the things he's doing, Tim, is recording productive outs. He said we're trying to encourage the activity on the bases, but also moving runners up and pointing that out.
That was a negligible good job by Wong, because it was hit to the left side of the infield. But as you pointed out, better base running by Paul DeYoung, and he made it work.
There's Harrison Bader, our Lowe's whole team together. He's the 8th place hitter. Michaelis on deck. Ranks in August for the Cardinals offense. Infield is drawn in for Miami. And a little flare that'll be caught. And it's up to Michaelis with 2 down.
Of course, Lopez is only 22, but with young hitters, you play on their anxiety and anxiousness. And he threw that fastball out of the strike zone, and Bader bit.
Michaelis with a base hit to left field back in the third. He's 1 for 1. Oh, and 2. Struck him out, and he pitches out of the jam. 5th strikeout. DeYoung stranded midway through 5, 1-0. About a week away from our This One's For You broadcast, honoring our armed forces. This year we highlight soldiers from the Missouri National Guard 35th Engineer Brigade in Kuwait. Always a very special night. This One's For You, August 15th, Fox Sports Midwest. You were a part of that last year.
Loved every minute of it. You have told me that it's your favorite game of the year.
It is. Very special. JT Riddle, and he looks at a ball. Boy, missed opportunity, Tim, again for the Cardinals. Michael has struggled a bit in the first. He had 23 pitches, and then a total of 23 the next 3 innings.
I remember a song that my grandmother used to sing to me. It's an old song. It's Spring Fever, and in that song are the words, "I'm as listless as a spider spinning daydreams," and that depicts the Cardinal offense right now. It's listless.
One and two the count. Just got a piece.
One of the reasons for Michaelis's success, he makes a lot of hitters reach, and when you get them to reach, you take away their power.
And the 1-2. Look at that, only 13 balls tonight. 2-2 the count on Riddle. Bounce back to Michael his first time up and hits it off the bag and into right. All the way down in the corner. And Riddle is thinking 3. Leadoff triple, JT Riddle.
Boy, is that a vanishing hit. A triple of all things. This guy can run too. That looked like a cut fastball on the inside part, just fair. Kicks up line right past first base. And Riddle with his 4th triple of the year. Now you've got to play the infield in.
Miguel Rojas. Big Cardinal fans, Mark and Debbie Ballou are here tonight. Never miss a game on Fox Sports Midwest unless they're at the game, and they are tonight here in Miami. Infield in. Rojas grounded out to short. And he picks up a base hit to make it 2-0 Miami.
Looking fastball, he got it right down the middle, and Rojas drives in the 2nd run of the game. Normally you wouldn't bunt with the 8th place hitter, a sacrifice right here because your pitcher's not a big hitter in the National League having to hit. But Lopez is a very good hitter. He's been used twice as a pinch hitter by Don Mattingly.
And with a guy like Sierra, you'd think bunt.
That's right. They're trying to get him to bunt more anyway.
That's right.
With his speed.
Worked with Juan Pierre this spring training. There's strike one. Jim talked about the move earlier. Tyson Ross activated in the bullpen. John Brebbia back to AAA. Ross, a 9-year veteran, all-star back in 2014. And this year, right-handed hitters only hitting 177 against him. That's a foul ball.
We talked about triples, and you had a chance to see the shortstop for the Marlins get his 4th triple of the year. Guess how many the Cardinals have? 6 as a team. I think the Toronto Blue Jays set a major league record with only 3 last year.
Wow. Would you think Sierra would be ideal for this ballpark, as big as it is?
Yep. Got to play him shallow in the outfield, however, because he does not have a lot of power. You play him like Juan Pierre, his mentor.
And the 1-2. Tough to turn to. Out there, no chance at first. What does he get down the line?
It's almost, unless this ball is scalded to a second baseman or shortstop on the bag, you can forget a double play ball. Too fast.
How many times do we talk about guys that have eye-popping speed like Sierra, but that does not make them a good base runner. It does not make them a good base stealer.
No.
So it's something he's got to learn, and the Cardinals talked about that when he was in the minor league system. Lopez bunts it foul for strike one. On the air tomorrow at 5:30. Freddie Gonzalez gives the word to Lopez. John Gant, Trevor Richards tomorrow, and our Budweiser What's on Tap. Gant 3 and 4, Richards 3 and 6. 5:30 pregame show.
Remember Lopez can handle the bat.
Bunts it back to Michaelis. Flips to first, and they'll throw back to Sierra, but back in the bag at second base. Hall of Fame weekend, August 17th through the 19th, presented by Edward Jones. We have a Dizzy Dean watch on August 19th. Cardinals.com/promotions. Brewers will be in town. So 2 outs, and Derek Dietrich, who's 2 for 2. And ball 1. So again, the Cardinals trailing. They have been playing catch up this entire series. Two and 0.
Scoring only 2 runs on Sunday against the Pirates. Home run by Matt Carpenter in the 7th inning. They won that game 2-1.
The 2-0. 2-1. And time called. Outfield not very deep for Dietrich. Got 14 home runs though. Popped up on the infield, and the catch is made by Carpenter. RBI single by Rojas to bring in Riddle, who had tripled. Coming up, Matt Carpenter. Cardinals need some runs. They trail by 2. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. One of the stories developing tonight, Pablo Lopez with 5 strikeouts and has kept the runs off the board for St. Louis. 3 hits allowed. Now a 3rd time through with Carpenter, Molina, and Martinez. Matt 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Two and 0. You had Tehran Guerrero last night out of the pen for Miami. Steckenrider. Barraclaw, Hernandez. I think Guerrero probably down after a long appearance last night. There's the first out. Carpenter is now 0 for 3. The point I'm getting to is you get into the bullpen, we'll see what direction Don Mattingly wants to go in. Barraclaw has been removed as the closer. They've had a lot of issues in their bullpen coming into this series. Yadier Molina grounded to third and also fly to center. I know you really like that man right there, Don Mattingly.
I do a great deal, yes. From Indiana.
Evansville.
Has never lost that nice Indiana touch. Midwesterner through and through. Finally reached postseason his last year, 1995.
They lost to the Seattle Mariners that year in '95 with Ken Griffey Jr. scoring the winning run.
Yeah.
Ball hit by Edgar Martinez into the corner and left, and Griffey came around to score. The following year, they win the World Series.
Yep. Without Don Mattingly.
And Molina retired. Seven ground ball outs, 81 pitches for Lopez, and he's made this look easy.
Yeah, it's just a futile Cardinal offense so far, including last night's game, the game on Sunday, even though they won on Sunday. I mean, this is just nothing there so far.
Martinez struck out and grounded out, 0 for 2. One ball and one strike. Another start in right field tonight for Jose Martinez. So Garcia, both Greg and Adolis on the bench, Munoz and Pena. Up and in.
We're laughing because that ball wasn't even close. Again, Lopez pitching inside.
The 2-1. Hit out of play. And a nice play made by a fan down the right field line. Now you got to give that baseball up, don't you?
To whom?
Young lady to his left.
I guess.
Might get another one.
I wonder what the record for foul balls caught during a 9-inning game.
By one particular fan.
By one fan.
Guy in Texas always gets the home run balls.
Look that up and call me at 3 a.m.
You got it. Be all over that. It's so intriguing. I may have to stop right now and think about it and start doing the research. There's probably a stat for it, though. 3-2 pitch to Martinez. Slowly hit to third. Gloved by Rojas. Cardinals go in order. The newest addition to the Cardinals bullpen, big guy, 31 years of age. He's 6'6", 245 pounds. Real good slider when right. And now a member of the Cardinals bullpen. All-Star in 2014. Brian Anderson leads it off against Miles Michaelis. And let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Ross was activated today. John Brebbia optioned back to Memphis. Ross was claimed off waivers from San Diego, and as you mentioned, the cards say he'll work out of the bullpen. He was an all-star in 2014, but hasn't been quite the same since undergoing surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome in 2016. Ross told me it's been a long road back. He said, I'm not exactly where I used to be, but I'm getting closer, and I'm a much smarter pitcher now. He told me he's still getting the feel for his sinker, but as he put it, it's coming. And Dan Ross says health-wise, he feels great. He's fine with being in the bullpen. He said whatever role they need me to be in, that's what I'm ready to do.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. There's Michaelis to the bag.
That shot of the bullpen by our director, Tom Mee, as we take a look at Mike Schilt. But Ponce de Leon, Daniel Ponce de Leon, was lifting. You can see that black ball he has in his right hand. That's a weighted ball. It weighs about 3 to 5 ounces. And the pitchers use that to loosen up, stretching that shoulder or stretching the elbow. And Tyler Ross just getting to know the guys. I mean,
sure,
he's played against them for the last 5 years, 6 years.
JT Realmuto, strike one. 0 for 2 tonight. Fly to right, grounded out to third. The Passmore family reunion is here tonight. And we ran into them a couple years ago, Tim. You may recall we were doing a function here in Miami. And
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Out on Miami Beach.
Yep.
South Beach. You and Jim Hayes and I went to dinner after that.
That's right.
Oh, yes, I remember it well.
Realmuto retired, and it's great of Justin Meyer, of our group leaders, set up that outstanding night that we had with the fans, and we ran into the Passmores, and we later found out they travel around and from city to city following the Cardinals. But the Passmore family reunion, we want to thank Justin for introducing us to them.
Yes, sir.
So 2 outs and nobody on, and here's Justin Bohr. One for 2 on the night. And Bohr hits it to second. Wong with it, and a 1-2-3 8-pitch inning for Miles Michaelis. It's only 71 pitches tonight. Ozuna coming up. Fans 16 and older receive an adult Cardinals mystery BP pullover. And that's courtesy of Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Be surprised at the gates when you discover which Cardinals player you get to rep. Cardinals.com/promotions. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Cardinals with just 3 hits tonight.
3 base runners. No errors by the Marlins and no walks by Lopez.
Best opportunity was in the 5th. Runner at third, 1 out. Bader at the plate, 1-0 the score at the time. Hit a soft liner to short. Then the strikeout of Michaelis, and that was it.
Here's the situation: 1 ball, no strikes. You want the ball to be in you're an aggressive count. In an aggressive count. And he swings at a ball way out of the strike zone. That's like an 0-2 swing and miss or a 1-2 swing and miss. And the same pitch. Why not? If you're Lopez. I would imagine he'll see that pitch again.
Tried to go there. 2-2. Ozuna with a fly ball out to deep left field. Dietrich going back near the wall, and it's caught. Again, a hanging breaking ball.
Yep, that was a hanger there. Dietrich, of course, knowing the wall well, the ballpark well. Ozuna thought he got it. Not quite enough.
Jed Jerko fly to right and struck out. 0 for 2. Shift on the left side. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes.
Dan, last night the Cardinals waited until the 9th for excitement. Trying to start a little earlier tonight.
Right-hander throwing in the Marlins pen. Nobody throwing for St. Louis.
A lot to be said for a guy who can pitch, huh?
Absolutely.
This guy can pitch.
StatCast AI powered by AWS. Shift on the infield. And it's a 1-out walk, and again the tying run comes to the plate. Paul DeYoung, his 13th double of the year. Back in inning number 5 and also lined out to right.
He got a fastball up and in and was quick on it to double his last time up. I would imagine Lopez will go back outside. He and Realmuto go outside with that breaking ball. Right down the pipe.
Shift on for DeYoung as well here. Hanging breaking ball lifted down the left field line. It is gone. Sneaks over the wall. A 2-run homer by Paul DeYoung. And boy, does it come at the right time. His 10th of the year. And we're tied 2-2.
Well, Lopez has gotten away with that pitch all night. Finally, the Cardinal faithful that's traveled here to Miami enjoying themselves.
Oh, did they need that?
That train has been dormant the last 2 nights.
Take a look at the Nissan drive of the game and a home run hit by Paul DeYoung.
Juan Nieva is the pitching coach for the Marlins out to talk just over the fence. Home run number 10, double figures for Paul DeYoung.
Feels like the pressure a little bit has been lifted.
Somewhat. I know what you mean.
He needed it, and the team needed it.
That's usually the case. I'm not being snide or anything like that, but it is. You know, you say, a lot of players say, I just want to help my team win. No, they don't. They want hits for themselves, because baseball is an inherently selfish game. It's made selfishly. It's drawn up selfishly. So be suspect when somebody says, I just want to help my team win. What that translates into, I want to do well for myself, and it's supposed to be like that.
There's a grounder hit up the middle, backhanded, and out at first. Nice play by Castro.
He threw that ball without looking, I think.
Well, that's a great play.
It really was.
Good speed of Colton Wong getting down the line. Tim, I'm really just looking to try to have the best broadcast team we can.
No, you're not. You're trying to sound good, and you want me to sound bad.
Well, I couldn't do that to you. You always sound good.
That was a perfect line. Nice going. That got me. But I mean, you know, the game is designed selfishly. Don't give me all that stuff about I just want to help my team win. Eliminate every time a player says that. Don't put it in the paper, and don't show it on television, ever.
All right, let me write that down.
Write that down.
Let's see. Tim, page 89 of the notes I've got. Got it. Here's a 3-1 pitch now to Bader. And Bader hits it out to left. Dietrich over and a diving catch. Cardinals get a clutch home run. Paul DeYoung just over the wall and left. And we're tied now 2-2.
St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. And by the Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer close to home. Both starters have been sensational at points in time tonight. Michael is still in the ball game. Paul DeYoung, the 2-run homer, his 10th of the year to tie it up. Would be Castro, Riddle, and Rojas here in the bottom of the 7th, tied 2-2. Castro is fly to center and struck out. Mentioned at the start of our telecast, Cardinals felt that DeYoung was showing signs late, getting out of it last night.
With that base hit, hit his last time up last night.
To right field.
Yeah.
There's a liner into right, and the catch is made by Martinez.
Looked like Jose almost lost that ball on the lights. It was close to it. Check it out. I remember Tommy Pham often complaining about the lights here in Miami.
He did. That's right. Good point. JT Riddle. And strike one. With Tommy Pham, it just seems like can't catch a break. Gets down to Tampa Bay and then has a fracture in his foot, so he's going to miss a little time. We always appreciated how Tommy went about his business.
Absolutely. Really admire that man. Against all odds.
Yeah. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Riddle. Fouled back, 1-2. Well, he's only had 76 pitches. Michaelis is due up first for the Cardinals in the 8th.
Leave him in there.
Then you have Carpenter, Molina, and if you can extend the inning, Martinez, and I'm sure that's probably one of the reasons why Jose is still in the game. 2-2 game on the road, a chance to get him one more at bat. We've seen that, you know, the Cardinals late in games will double switch him out.
Well, if that's the case, Martinez is due up 4th in the 8th. So that would lean toward pinch hitting for Mike.
Exactly. You double switch it then if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Yeah, sure. We'll see. Getting out of this inning, of course, the most important thing. But Michaelis and Lopez too, for that matter, deserved a hit.
So 2 outs, and Miguel Rojas, right-hander and a lefty, throwing in the Miami bullpen.
The thing about it is, with this day and age, the way salaries are paid, you know, pitchers are rewarded for no decisions. If they pitch 7 innings and give up 2 runs, I mean, that's an agent's job to point those things out. And Miles Michaelis, you know, he's given up some runs early on like 2 or 3 occasions, but for the most part, every start has been, whether it's a no decision or a win, it's been super.
That's hit down the right field line, slicing foul. See the jersey and the sweat building up on that jersey on what is a hot, real muggy night here in Miami.
I remember how pitchers used to complain in the days of 1-year contracts about how ownership would say, and that was a general manager's job. It'd say, wait a minute, no decision. You didn't win that game. So, you know, there was nobody to argue for you either. That was pre-agent. That no longer exists.
And the 1-2 hit high in the air out to shallow left. A 10-pitch inning for Miles Michaelis through 7. It's game 2, and we're tied at 2. Better than ever. Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more, and you can get a voucher for up to 50% off on up to 8 tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
Here's one of those situations with Munoz pinch hitting for Michaelis. Dan, I think, you know, either way is.
Could go either way with it.
You could go either way with this deal right here. If Michaelis hit for himself, nobody argues, but with Munoz hitting for him, nobody argues.
It's interesting that Pablo Lopez is still in the game. Now, you have Carpenter hitting from the left side coming up, so it may be just one hitter and he's done. But a few things to think about. I mentioned this earlier, and now Don Mattingly coming out. They're going to make a pitching change here. So they made sure that Munoz was announced.
Yeah, and by announcing Munoz, that made sure, Don Mattingly made sure that he was going to be the hitter. So he'll bring in a right-hander and then maybe a left-hander to pitch to Carpenter.
There you go. Very nice outing by Pablo Lopez. We're tied 2-2. Came into the 6th inning last night, pitched a 1/3 of an inning, allowed a base hit to Marcell Ozuna, and then struck out Jed Jerko for his work last night. in relief of Lopez, who goes 7 tonight for the Marlins. We were wondering about Jairo Munoz bunting last night. Was it just for show, or was he to bunt? And Mike Shildt did confirm to us today that they did want him to bunt in that spot last night, and now being used as a pinch hitter here in game 2.
He wanted to go against the grain and play for a tie. I still don't agree with that, but that's the way. Agreement is not necessary for Mike to make a move like that.
Here's a 2-0, and it's 2-1. Last night the Marlins had Hernandez, Guerrero, Steckenrider, and Barraclough, and then eventually Javi Guerra. The 2-1 pitch, fouled back.
Mike even asked me before the game, he said, where were you tonight? Why didn't you come down to my office? I didn't tell you that. You were down there, but I wasn't, because I was doing my notes up here. And I thought I'd get down there, so by the time I got down there, I was only on the field and happened to run into Mike.
Where you been?
Where you been, right?
The strikeout of Munoz.
Well, that's a high-riding fastball right there. Great job by Michaelis.
BJC Healthcare difference maker Miles Michaelis. A lot of ground ball outs in 5 of the 7 innings. 10 pitches or less and a ton of ground balls.
12 ground ball outs in 7 innings.
And ball 1 to Carpenter. It's Dakota Hudson, who's been outstanding to begin his big league career. Brian Eversgerd behind him, the pitching coach of the Cardinals. Ooh, good cut by Carpenter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt 0 for 3. Pair of strikeouts and grounded out to second. A 2-run homer in the 7th inning by Paul DeYoung has tied it up at 2-2.
Good change up there by Hernandez.
It's got a lot of kind of a funky motion.
That makes that change up a lot better.
Exactly. A lot of arms flailing. And the 2-1. 3-1 on Carpenter. Three and 2.
I think Matt thought that ball was high. Usually if he complains about a pitch, he's right.
(3-2). Carpenter, a high fly ball lifted out to deep right at the wall. Number 30 home runs for Carpenter. St. Louis on top, 3-2.
Matt thinking, boy, I'm glad he called that pitch a strike.
30 home runs for Matt Carpenter.
Remember the 3-1 pitch? It was high. Carpenter started toward first base and now puts the Cardinals ahead again. And so happy. The umpire behind the plate, Chad Whitson, called that ball a strike. Otherwise, he walks.
The Budweiser play of the game.
Man.
That's it out of play by Molina.
Not bad for $1,000, right? That's right. That's what Matt Carpenter signed for. $1,000. What a return for the Cardinals.
A 5-year player at TCU. Tommy John surgery. I told this story last week. Spring training to the date that he was called in. It was 10 years to the date that Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach at TCU, called him in his office and said, you can be better. Better in the classroom, better on the field. We expect more out of you. And Matt never forgot it. And to the date, spring training, he wrote him a letter telling him, thank you. You changed my life.
Great story. Wonderful. And the $1,000 didn't change his life, but what came after that?
Oh,
has.
yeah. That one. When he signed that contract, it really changed things.
Yes, sir. Man.
3-2 Cardinals, and here's Jose Martinez. And Michaelis now a chance to pick up a win. Now, what's going to be interesting, Tim, is that Dakota Hudson is a guy that can give you multiple innings. He's a starter from the minor leagues. He's done a terrific job with a hard sinker out of the bullpen. If things play out, you might think about 2 innings with him. Now, Bud Norris had back-to-back dates, which he was up.
But he was up last night, too.
And then he got up and got hot last night. So just something to think about.
Sure. And with Tyson Ross, I think you save him for extra innings if it goes that far. Miami comes back to tie it. So he's a guy who could give you 3 or 4 because all season long he's been a starter for San Diego. Last at bat, and last thing that Jose Martinez will do that's stressful tonight.
And that's outside. I would say of the 30 home runs that Carpenter has hit this year, that is the most emotion I've seen out of Matt Carpenter and reaction after a home run.
That is a good point. Yes. Couldn't disagree with that.
The 2-2. Reaching for it. Out of play.
Went a little over budget? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Overlooked in this situation too, the fact that Carpenter extends his on-base streak to a career high, matches it, 26. That's the longest right now in the major leagues. 3-2 on Jose Martinez.
I think Matt Carpenter's getting the type of national exposure that with which he is unfamiliar. Normally his hitting has been primarily relegated to the Midwest and St. Louis, but now they're paying attention in New York and Boston and LA about what a great year he's having.
Be interesting too what Mike Schilt does in right field. You have Adolis Garcia. Do you want him to make a major league debut in right?
You got Munoz too.
And that's the other part of this.
Yeah.
And the catch is made in right field by Anderson. Matt Carpenter with home run number 30. Atop the National League. And breaks a 2-2 tie. Matt Carpenter and doing it from the leadoff spot. And now Dakota Hudson in our Chevy called to the pen. He's appeared in 4 games since making his debut. And Tim, this is the first time you've seen him in person. You'll notice,
It is.
I mean, a really good sinker, and Jairo Munoz stays in the ball game in right field. Here's Sierra. These two are teammates in the minor leagues. Trying to bunt his way on, and a strike. Phillips 66 once in the tank, and his last outing was on the 4th. 3 innings, no hits, and 1 strikeout. It was 9 up and 9 down. 0-1 pitch. Molina hops on it and makes the play.
Wrong guy. Choose somebody else.
Go a little left, go a little right, but not there. Here's Martin Prado to pinch hit. There's a strike. 95 on the gun from Hudson. In a way, he reminds me a bit of Hicks, minus the triple digits, but the really good sinker. Out to shallow center. Bader! Oh, what a catch! Harrison Bader in center field. It's a pretty good speed right there, partner. Wow.
Harrison, just lay on out there.
Great play.
Not only can run, but can dive.
So 2 outs and a ball to Derek Dietrich. A lot of things going the Cardinals' way here the last couple of innings. The Young's 2-run homer, Carpenter's solo shot, the diving catch by Bader.
That's a double, too, if that ball's in there, not a single.
One ball and 1 strike on Derek Dietrich, 2 for 3 tonight. And that's a base hit. Dietrich, a 3-hit night. Tying run aboard, and the go-ahead run comes to the plate and Brian Anderson.
Is Dietrich a good player? He hit a home run against the Phillies on Sunday before the Marlins came home. He'll be pinch run for
Isaac Galloway, the pinch runner.
Galloway in last night's ball game. Defensive replacement. Don Mattingly going along the theory you got to tie it before you win it, putting speed at first, and Galloway will stay in the game and play left field.
Brian Anderson hitless tonight, 0 for 3. And a grounder that is ruled fair. Yes, it is. It's a fair ball. And Anderson retired. Hudson gets the ground ball. And a little help this inning thanks to Harrison Bader laying out in center. Outstanding play. Hudson loves it. 3-2 St. Louis. The ground ball off the bat of Molina last night with the bases loaded and one down. Don Mattingly indicating that he could be a closer at times for Miami as they figure out the back end of their bullpen situation. There's Chevy called to the pen. Guerra will get Ozuna, Jerko, and DeYoung. Cardinals, if you're just joining us, we're down 2-0 in the 7th. There was a walk to Jed Jerko. And then DeYoung hit a 2-run homer. That tied it up. And then Matt Carpenter on a 3-2 pitch in the 8th with home run number 30. Galloway stays in the game in left field. And strike one to Ozuna. 1 for 3 with a base hit to right. Grounded out to second. Hit one to the track and left. $7,230 here tonight. 7,230. And a grounder, base hit for Ozuna into left field.
Looked like a backup slider right down the middle. Ozuna too good a hitter to miss that pitch.
There's Jed Jerko, fly to right, struck out, walked and scored on the 2-run homer hit by Paul DeYoung. There's strike one.
Talk about pitching in the major leagues. I mean, these hitters are so good. The plate's 17 inches wide, and Gibson used to say the inside 2 inches are mine and so are the outside 2 inches. If I make a mistake in the middle of the plate and you hit it, nothing's going to happen. However, if I make a good pitch on the outside 2 inches and you hit it, you're going down. That's the way it was back in those days. And he backed up the claim, by the way.
And then some.
And then some.
Jerko hits it the other way down the right field line. And the catch is made. Anderson with the catch. Ozuna back to the bag at first as Bud Norris is getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen.
We talked about it last night. Brian Anderson makes you pay attention to his play. in right field and as a hitter. He's a good-looking player from Edmond, Oklahoma. Can cover a lot of ground, good arm, good hitter, and could be the Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Just might be. A strike to Paul DeYoung, who is doubled tonight, and also a 2-run homer. This is it. Back in the 7th, the Nissan, or rather the Honda, home run inning. And with that home run, he was able to raise $1,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. It was during the Honda home run inning. Marlins have 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Real Muto, Bohr, and Castro. Strikeout of DeYoung. It's the 8th Cardinals strikeout, and that's something that has been a point of emphasis. George Greer and Mark Budaska to cut down on strikeouts, and the Cardinals have done that.
They have.
Colton Wong 0 for 3, 3 groundouts. There's George looking down at his notes, crossing his arms. Mark Budaska there. Done a real nice job. Many offensive categories have been up overall for the Cardinals. Two balls, 1 strike. Runner at first, Ozuna. And that's a base hit out to left. Ozuna stops at second base.
Go the other way, your front shoulder's in there. Good hitting by Wong.
Cardinals had a total of 3 hits going into the 7th inning. Since that time, they've got 4, 2 singles, 2 home runs.
Last night they had 4 hits the last 2 innings, but could only score 1 run.
Bader is 0 for 3. Cardinals are hitless with runners in scoring position in the series. 0 for 10 combined first 2 nights, and 0 for 3 this evening. You know that Bader would love to atone for what took place back in the 5th. 1 out, 1 run game, runner at third, hit a soft liner to short. 1 ball, 1 strike. But moments ago came up with an outstanding play in center field. Robbed Martin Prado. One ball and 2 strikes.
That was a nasty pitch right there. Sharp, late breaking slider on the corner.
Slowly hit up the third base line, and that'll roll foul. Lead holds. The Cardinals closer Norris will be attempting for save to pick up save number 22. And the 1-2 popped up out of play. Big gap in left center. Another 1-2 pitch. Puts it in play. Slowly hit towards second. And Bader getting down the line, but they get it by a step. Bud Norris coming on in the bottom of the ninth when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Guto, Bohr, and Castro. 3, 4, and 5 as the Cardinals are trying to hold on and pick up a win in this series in game number 2 and earn a split in the first 2. Our Chevy called to the pen, and Norris 21 of 24 in save opportunities.
Old pitching coach for the Cardinals used to say in situations like that, get the leading lady. That means the first hitter in the inning. Boy, that came out smoothly, didn't it?
Sure did.
Thank you, Dan.
Rolled right off your tongue.
And into the trash can.
The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Bud Norris. Cardinal relievers since the 27th of July. 8 different relievers. Norris a part of this. There's a ground ball that's hit to DeYoung. There's one away. They've combined to lead the National League since the 27th of July in ERA at 1.50. John Mozeliak and Michael Gersh redoing the bullpen on the fly, if you will. It's paid off. So far, so good. That's the first out.
It paid off, and it paid off in just glaring caps, too. I mean, my gosh. Think about where this bullpen was in April and May. Ooh, ugly.
Time called. Justin Bohr, 19 home runs. He had a 2-out RBI single to center back in the first. He's grounded to short and grounded to second. That pitch right there has been effective for Norris against left-handed batters.
If you miss, you got to miss inside.
Yes.
Because the guy like Bohr, tremendous power, either primarily to right field. Then he goes away. Missed inside. That ball was a strike, I thought. Norris primarily an in and out guy, meaning controls the inside and outside parts of the plate. Slider occasionally to left-handers.
Matt Carpenter, the earliest to reach 30 home runs in a season by a Cardinal since Albert Pujols, June 30th of 2009. How far he has come since the middle of May. The 2-1. And it's a 1-out walk. I'm sure Don Mattingly would pinch run in this spot, you would think.
Yadiel Rivera is running to first base. Yeah. Almost out of players. The only player left, Brian Halliday, a catcher.
There's Starlin Castro.
It's one of the toughest jobs in baseball to be a pinch runner, and the reason for that is you're not loose. You'll loosen up, but it's in the process of scoring the tying run. That's what teams hope for.
Castro with a home run last night. That pitch low. The 1-out walk to Moore, the tying run aboard, the winning run at the plate. It's grounded into 13 double plays this year. A ball and a strike. Outfield very deep. Castro 0 for 3 with a fly out to center, struck out and lined to right. The 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ball way outside, and Castro may see another one of those in the sequence.
He's 9 for 23 against Norris.
It's a different Norris, though, right now, Danny.
Agreed.
You know, he's pitching with a lot more confidence than when Castro faced him earlier in his career.
And we're talking about primarily those numbers coming as a starter in Houston.
Right.
In the Central Division.
Exactly.
The 1-2 pitch to Starlin Castro. It gets through Yachty. And now the tying run in scoring position.
I don't think he crossed him up. There was no reason to, because nobody was on at second base. But usually after a ball like that gets by a catcher, he'll go out and talk to his pitcher, thinking that he may have crossed him up. I don't know.
I didn't think he did, but I'm just going to make sure they're on the same page.
Maybe.
Plus you have a runner at second base, so
Now I'll guarantee you Yadiel Rivera is not relaying any signs to Starlin Castro. I am certain of that. Book it, baby.
Book it. 2-2 the count. Now the infield comes in a bit, or rather the outfield comes in a bit. The 2-2. Castro hits it sharply to third. Jerko looks back the runner, and there's 2 away. Big out. JT Riddle 1 for 3 on the night with a triple back in inning number 5. Hit it off the bag at first, went into the right field corner, and eventually scored as the infield was drawn in. It was a leadoff triple, and then Rojas brought him in with a single, and the Marlins down to their final out. So 2 outs and a runner at second.
We talk often about a no doubles defense. Well, the Cardinals are not playing that right now because it's the single they want to try to prevent. That's why the outfield is shallow.
The 0-1. Now 0-2. The Cardinal fans on their feet making some noise here in Miami. Oh-2 pitch spoiled.
Riddle, no power the other way. If you're Ozuna, I think Marcel's playing too deep in left field, about 3 feet or so. You want to take that clunker away from him. Again, it's the single you're guarding against, not the double.
Another 0-2 pitch. Struck him out. And the Cardinals will take game 2. They tied it in the 7th with a 2-run homer. Carpenter with home run number 30 to put him on top. And St. Louis holds on for a 3-2 win.
After a lackluster offensive performance last night, the Cardinals win it tonight in a very exciting game. Nice job, partner.
You as well, as Miles Michaelis is now 12-3. The save for Bud Norris, number 22. And it's off to the post-game show. 3-2 the final. Cardinals take game 2 here in Miami.